Welcome to World 24 News Channel. Death toll in Ukrainian strikes rises to 19. As we've been reporting this morning, air sirens have sounded across all of Ukraine in the hours people would be heading to work and school. Dozens of Russian rockets rained down on major Ukrainian cities on Monday, and it has now been confirmed that at least 19 people died. This revises up the previous death toll of 14. The Ukraine State Emergency Services added that 105 people were wounded in the strikes on Monday. It said, "Warning. During the day there's a high probability of missile strikes on the territory of Ukraine. Please remain in shelters for your own safety, do not ignore air raid signals." Putin could order imminent nuclear attack. Vladimir Putin's appointment of Sergei Surovikin as the new commander of Russia's forces in Ukraine, and the general's history of ruthlessness, has prompted renewed fears around the potential for a major escalation in the conflict. The Russian president and other prominent figures in the Kremlin have issued repeated and thinly veiled threats in recent weeks around the country's nuclear arsenal. And the partial destruction of the Crimea bridge on Saturday has led some to speculate that the risk of Moscow ordering a limited nuclear strike had heightened considerably as a result. However, military analyst Forbes McKenzie, head of McKenzie Intelligence, told Sky News the evidence on the ground did not indicate an attack of this nature was imminent. "As of today, there's no escalation beyond what we saw last week," he said. "We actually look at the reality of what specialist equipment is being deployed and where it's being deployed, and there's no indication of that anywhere." Has Surovikin got the opportunity to use chemical or nuclear weapons? Not at this time. There has been no preparation taking place in any of the battle spaces that suggests Russia is ready to shift to that approach imminently. G7 leaders to meet after latest Russian assault. Leaders of the group of 7 nations will meet virtually this lunchtime to discuss the latest Russian bombardment on major Ukrainian cities. The Russian attack on Monday, which left at least 19 dead and 105 injured, was launched by Moscow in retaliation for what Vladimir Putin claimed was a terrorist act carried out by Ukrainian special services on a bridge linking Russia with Crimea. International outcry was swift in the wake of the latest Russian assault, labeled by some as a sign of President Putin's growing desperation in the face of staunch Ukrainian resistance. But in a sign of how seriously Western leaders are taking the Russian bombardment, Liz Truss and her G7 counterparts will hold a virtual meeting later on Tuesday, with the Prime Minister also expected to call for a full meeting of NATO leaders in the coming days. The video call will also be attended by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Ms. Truss is expected to urge fellow G7 leaders to stay the course in the battle against Mr. Putin. It is likely a statement will be released following the meeting to date.